We're live yet, actually. All right, here we go. Hi, I'm
Hi,
Derek.
I'm Romaine.
We're off to a highly professional start.
Are we? I mean, maybe.
No,
I don't know.
I don't think so at all. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, it's raining here on the East Coast, so I'm wet because I was at another party in the neighborhood, and then I got wet walking over. But I couldn't miss out
Way to
on
go.
our live Q&A about the our Alaska cruise, which is coming up on August 28th, and then also answering other questions about the Derek and Romaine cruise. But it's primarily focused around people getting their questions answered about Alaska. But in general, it gives you a good sense of what the cruise is going to be like. Now, if you're watching this live, you can ask questions as part of the Q&A feature, as part of Google+. If you're on YouTube, seeing as you'll notice on the lower part of the screen somewhere down here, there's a little bar, and you click on that, and it'll pop you into the Google+ screen. And then there, you'll see something that looks like a keypad up above. And then you press that, and it will give you the Q&A thing, and you can ask your questions. We already have a rousing 2 questions.
Woo! Let's do it.
Well, might as well get into the 2 questions that we have.
Sure.
And then if more questions come up, we will answer those. Okay. Here's our first question. They're both from Tammy.
All right.
Tammy says, I received the DNR schedule and need to change a dinner reservation. The website does not appear to have a means to do this. Do I need to do this through DNR, or should I call NCL? If you have a specific dinner reservation that you made and you can't find it, I mean, you can email me, dnrshow@gmail.com, and I probably can go in and delete it.
Well, and
or move it.
Okay, so let me answer this too, because I'm assuming it's on one of the first 2 nights of the sailing, because the first 2 nights of the sailing we have group dinners. The first night is obviously more important than the second night. It really is just a way for our listeners who are on board an opportunity to kind of get to know each other. That's why we do the group dinners. So we recommend them. They're not mandatory. But if, like, for instance, if it's the second night and you're like, I don't really need to do dinner with the group, I understand if you don't. It's not a big deal. But in order to change the reservation, you can actually, there's a number, there should be a number in your online check-in section where you can call to change reservations. There should be like a reservations number. So you can call and change the reservation night that you have your dinner plans. Or you can do it once you're on board the ship. They make it pretty easy on board the ship as well.
All right. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a question from Alan. Alan says, Derek, did you get my email? Not a lot of information to go on there, Alan. I'm going to say no, but if you have a question that you think is a public question to ask away. And if it's a private question, email again. I may have gotten it at some email thing. I have not been home all afternoon, so I don't know when you sent it. Todd's question is, are you in the gift wrap room, Derek?
Boy, these are really good questions.
These are excellent cruise-related questions. I'm so glad people are tuning in. Yes, Todd, this is the wrap room. Okay. Yep. Here's Tammy's other question. Tammy says, will the shuttle to and from Seattle's be making several runs or one run each way?
All right, so this is a great question, Tammy. So for people who aren't aware, we do have a shuttle bus for $10 a person, right, Derek, for the night?
Yes.
That will run between, there's 2 host hotels and then the bar. So it will literally just be doing loops for the entire 5-hour period that we have set aside for the bar night, with the last pickup being at 1 o'clock, I believe. So yes, you can get on the shuttle, go over there, leave when the next shuttle comes back that's available for you to go back to the hotel. It'll just literally be doing circles. And the reason we decided to do the shuttle bus is because we know a lot of you will be drinking. We don't want you driving. And it's kind of a pain in the ass to try to always be getting Uber or Lyft or any of those types of things. especially on a busy Saturday night. So we just wanted to make it super easy for all of our group. And so you can get tickets for that. There should have been a link in the packet that I sent you that you can go to and check it out.
All right, there you go. Excellent. And just a reminder for those of you who are in the Seattle area, we will be at the bar Seattle's on Saturday night, August 27th. So even if you're not going on the cruise with us, drop on by. It should be a lot of fun. Okay, Alan emailed in with his actual question, and it's a good one for people, not just if you're sailing with us to Alaska, but for the Love Cruise. Alan is going on the Love Cruise, and he has the drink and the dinner package included, and he wants to know if he can change the dinner package to the shore excursion package. Yes. Generally speaking, it's very easy to make changes that you need to make to your reservation before the final payment date, which for the Love Cruise is around November 1st. So yeah, you need to change somebody in the cabin. You want to try a different cabin. You want a different package associated with it. All of those kinds of changes are very easy to make between now and November. Once we get past November, it is much harder to make those kinds of changes, and some changes you may not be able to make. So Alan, short answer, yes, if you do want to make that change, you can make that change. Right? Sound like Michael Jackson keeps saying over and over again, make that change. Okay. Alan says, do I need a label for my backpack, like a luggage tag, which I prefer to carry on myself?
Then no. If you've got a carry-on piece of luggage, you do not need to put a label on it because it won't ever be leaving your person. The labels are really for the bags that you're going to check, that then the ship will then deliver to your room. So those are just to help them deliver to your rooms. And I'm just going to give you guys a piece of advice about luggage tags that I have found that works really, really well. What I do is I print them out, and then I take like packing tape, and I kind of give them a clear coat of packing tape so that they're A, more sturdy, and B, if it rains, which it often does when they're loading these things in and out of ships, they won't get ruined in the rain, and they'll be easy to read. So I highly recommend, once you've filled all the information out, just putting a couple layers of just like packing tape on it, clear packing tape, and it makes them a lot more durable.
Yeah. And with the luggage tags, as Romaine said, because some people don't want to put like a paper tag on the bag and then it might get ripped when you check the bag, which is always a concern. What you can also do is, if you have like a hard suitcase surface, you can put the clear tape, just have the luggage tag not on the handle, but just across the surface of your bag, surfaces, sweetie. And then, tape over that. And then, that will probably not come off and your bag will still be identified as your bag. But if you get to check in and you need a luggage tag or to put a luggage tag on it, they can put one on there for you. It really is just a convenience for you. You can also bring the tags with you. And then when you're at the hotel or you're at the dock, you can bring it with you and they'll attach it for you, or you just bring a small thing of tape, because it's not that taxing getting from the dock into the ship. You just want to make sure your bag gets to your room. That's all. Right. Okay. Mike says, I'm not a lesbian, but I prefer duct tape. Can I use that? Only if you don't want to be able to see through it.
Yeah. Hello.
Exactly.
Come on now.
Donna, her question is, we only have a half an hour for you jokesters. Donna says, do straight folks go on these cruises? Because I love you guys and I want to go to one without feeling like a party pooper.
I'll answer this question. Yeah, a lot of straight people join us. And sometimes it's listeners, sometimes it's family and friends of our listeners who also are joining us for the first time. And I would just want to say too, the majority of the people on the ship are straight because we're a large group on a regular sailing. So you'll fit right in. Don't even stress it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And actually, sometimes I think the straight people who come with us have even more fun because, and then there are lots of straight people around the boat who are like, who are this fun group? There are other people who are like, this group is too loud, fuck them. But generally, we pick up people along the way, and they generally are straight people because our group is fun. But we will have from Romy, age 9, all the way up to 90 I think, 93. So yeah, it's a kind of an all ages, all kinds of people, all kinds of fun. Okay.
Yeah.
Bob has a question about the blinds being crooked. They're not crooked, Bob, as you can see. Like I said, jokesters, we don't have time for all these questions. Okay. Tammy says, do you recommend wearing the DNR wristbands for the entire trip so that we can identify one another? No. And Romain will tell you why.
Okay, so the wristbands are really just for the first day that we're loading in onto the ship. And here's where they come in handy. A, they have the phone number on them. So in the event some crazy ass thing happens at the port and while you're trying to get on the ship, that you won't have any issues. So you can call us if you need to.
You can also put the wristband on your luggage too. Like, you know, with a carry-on, like maybe you don't want to wear the band, but you can put it on your carry-on and then the other listeners will recognize you with it. Yeah,
and it really is just to help you guys kind of help, like because you often stand in long lines when you first get to the port to get on the ship. And this is to help you kind of recognize one another before you get on the ship. Once you get on the ship, the very first thing that you guys will do is you will come to the conference center where you will pick up your welcome packets, and that will have your lanyard in it and other stuff. And once you have your lanyard, don't worry, people will be able to spot that you're a Derek and Romain listener.
All right. Dave's question, I read that they collect luggage the night before the end of the cruise. Do I need to bring an overnight bag for that last night? Well, Dave, it depends on you and your own travel. You put the bags out the night before that you want the ship to carry off for you. So if you bring like lots of bags or big bags and you don't want to carry them off yourself, you put those out with the luggage tags on it, and then they'll take them off the ship for you, and you will collect them at customs when you get back. If you're a light traveler like me, or you're fairly mobile and you can carry all of your own bags, you can just carry your bags off, or some combination. So my recommendation, generally people bring like their regular bags plus a backpack anyway for your carry-on on the plane, but it's also a good idea on the ship to just have a change of clothes and your toiletries kit with you and a backpack. And then, you know, while you're traveling and everything, we do have DNR bags that you can carry stuff off the ship in if you want to, if you don't want to use this carry-on bag when you go to ports or anything like that. But some people just like having a backpack all the time. And so it's never a bad idea to have a light backpack for any of these kinds of uses.
Exactly.
All right. In your experience, if an excursion is showing unavailable now, could it open up by the time of the cruise or during the cruise?
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It just depends on the type of excursion it is. Like, for instance, if it's one of these, like once in a lifetime, go take a helicopter, get on a glacier kind of thing, generally those ones won't open up if they've already been booked and they're pretty full. Occasionally they do, and what I would say then is go to the excursion desk when you get on the ship. Make that be one of your first stops, and let them know, I'm really interested in this excursion. And get yourself on the wait list, because they do create wait lists. And if one opens up, then you might be able to get on it that way. But it really just depends on the size of the excursion and how many people they go on it.
Yeah, I mean, because our group is so large, we had picked the lumberjack excursion because it's a lot of fun, and it's also a big excursion, so it was not as likely to sell out.
Right.
Basically, the rule of thumb with the excursions is if you want to do something that doesn't hold a lot of people, you want to do a helicopter tour of a glacier, or, you know, so those kinds of like very intimate experiences where there's only room for 6 people at a time or whatever it is, anything like that is going to sell out early. So if you really want those kinds of experiences, you book that early. But for things where, like the scenic train trip, or many of the zip lines, not all of them, but some of the zip lines don't sell out because they are fairly high capacity. Just like, think about it like going to any amusement park. If it's a high capacity ride, the line will probably be shorter. If it's a low capacity ride, like fucking Dumbo, then you could be waiting a really long time for a really short ride. So anyway, so the generally Sorry, we're getting some rain here. So generally, some of these things do sell out early, but Romaine is right. Definitely try to get yourself on the wait list once you get on the ship. Bob says, what's the head count for Alaska? Asking for a friend. We have 153 people, I believe.
I thought it was 154.
It might be 154. All right. We have a good sized group. Penny says, any advice on which specialty restaurants are worth booking?
I really like the steakhouse. I think the Cagney Steakhouse is usually very good. I don't know if there's a Moderno on this particular one, which is the Brazilian steakhouse. I can't remember if there's one on the Pearl or not. But they have those on several of their ships, and that's also really delicious. It might be my favorite, but I personally love the Teppanyaki fusion place, and I really like the French Bistro. Those are my top three, probably.
Yeah, I agree with all of Romaine's taste. The teppanyaki, that's like a Benihana thing where they cook at the table right in front of you. That's another low capacity dining experience that fills up really fast. So if you really want to do that one, you got to book that one early, either now before we get on the ship or the very first day on the ship, depending on availability. But the only premium restaurant I've ever been to on an NCL ship that underwhelmed, not that it was bad, I didn't feel like it was worth the extra money, was the Italian restaurant. But that's because, I don't think you should pay 20 extra bucks for some fucking pasta. But, I feel like, it's not like the food was bad. The food was fine. But I was like, I'm getting a bowl of pasta. Like, why is this extra? But with the steakhouse or when they're throwing the knives in the air, that's really fun. But the only one that I think is just like not worth the extra money is the Italian. Okay. Richie says, are we watching Clue and or another movie for movie night? We will have a movie for movie night. And it will be a lot of fun. People really loved it the last time we did it. And so, yes, we will have another movie night on this one.
And the movie is Clue.
Yes.
So that's for people who want to dress up as a character if they want. You can go there and do that, and that's going to be a fun one.
In our group, everyone's a character. Okay, we're a little more than halfway through. We got to burn through these questions. Brian says, any word on the shows and entertainment offerings on the Pearl? I know they were TBD in the packet that Romaine sent out.
This has probably been the most frustrating part of my planning, dealing with the shows. They have not given me a schedule of what shows are playing on what nights yet. But I can tell you the one thing they did give me is that the White Hot Party is actually on Friday, the night that we are in Ketchikan. So that night will be the night of the White Hot Party. I don't think it was reflected in the itineraries I sent you guys, but that is a change. So realistically, I would recommend doing the theater shows on that Wednesday and Thursday night. And then we'll probably do some dancing at either Spinnaker or at the Bliss Ultra Lounge following the theater shows those nights.
All right. Well, Jeff says, are we planning for the 8 a.m. Lumberjack excursion? That is our excursion, but Tammy says that the Lumberjack excursion was sold out the last time she checked, which is possible. We have a very big group. And so it is possible that it might have sold out. Okay. Richie says, how long does it take to disembark? Alaska Airlines canceled our return flight at 2 p.m. They have an 11 a.m. return flight. Do you think that's too close? That's awfully close. It might be worth, we can get you on the very first disembarkation because you have such an early flight. But I don't know how quickly you can get from there to the airport and from the airport through security. 11 a.m. is really cutting it close. They prefer not having flights before noon. If it were 11:30, I would say probably if you get off the ship first. I'd be very worried about you being able to be at the gate by 10:30 a.m.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So if you're really, what I would do is I would ask Alaska Airlines because something tells me they have a lot of people coming in and out of that port. ask them how many, how frequently people get booted. You know what? Caroline Mulder, Ormond, they either do work or have worked for Alaska Airlines. I would ask some of those cruise bitches directly what the experience is, what's the ear on the ground about it. But my feeling is 11 a.m. might be too early. Cliff says, did Romaine get a haircut? Yes,
Yep.
Her hair is now as short as Elle's hair on Stranger Things.
Yep, I did.
Okay. Follow-up question from Al, because there's Alan K and Al K. That's not confusing. Al says about changing the dinner package to the shore excursion. Do I contact NCL or us to make the change? Contact us. Just email me. All right. Alan K, not Al K, says, I noticed on NCL's luggage tags that they say staple here. I am leery of attaching them before I fly. I would prefer to attach them at the hotel. Will this be an issue at the hotel, or is it common practice to staple them at the hotel? It's fine at the hotel, Alan. Right?
Yep.
Rick says they do have the Moderno Steakhouse on the Pearl, and he likes teppanyaki the best.
Both are good.
All right. Jeff says, I noticed reference to the Bali High bar on the itinerary, and I couldn't find that bar on the Pearl. Is that a typo?
I'm trying to find out where it's at. No, and if it is a typo, I don't think it is. I'll double check it because I have been doing 2 itineraries at once. So one for the Love Cruise and one for the Pearl. So typically where we meet though is there's near the pools. There's usually a big bar, and we usually meet at the bar. I will tell you, when you go looking for our sail away party, just look for the rainbow colored leis. Because that's where our group is. If you see a bunch of people wearing rainbow leis, you found us.
Yeah, and we have a big enough group now. Like in the past, when our group was under 100, it's like, well, you know, sometimes you might have a hard time finding people. But the Alaska ships, this is our biggest group on the smallest ship we've ever been on. Because the ships in Alaska can't be very big, so they can get close to the glaciers and into the docks and everything. So I don't think you'll have any trouble finding people with our group, with the group size that we have. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay. Richie, he says, Romaine, we need to do a Sears Portraits Studio photo shoot to go with my Derek photo shoot.
Okay. I'm sure we can arrange something.
It has to look like this.
Like this?
Yeah. Do it again.
Like that? Am I doing it right?
Close enough.
Okay.
Okay. Bob says, did Romaine email out an itinerary recently asking for myself? I'll take my answer off camera.
No, I did not email one out. I sent you a letter in the mail. You should be getting an old-timey, old-fashioned letter in the mail. And inside it should be a copy of the excursion. Or the itinerary. Sorry, not the excursion. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Brad said, this is our last question so far, unless people have other questions. Brad says, extra cruise oriented. Derek, what percentage of your shirts have come from Woot? I've noticed a trend over the years. No, Brad, you've just noticed this one Woot shirt. This, I think, is the only one I have. And this was given to me by my friend Clay. This is my official Pride shirt. And since we were having an LGBT meetup in my neighborhood today, I thought it was appropriate to wear. So there you go. And I'm almost dry, but now it's pouring out, so I won't be dry for much longer.
No.
Bob says thank you. All right, Romaine, any last thoughts in our last 5 minutes before in case we get other questions, because we're almost out of time.
Yes, I will tell you a couple of things. One, when you get on the ship, if you have medications or things that you're going to need in those first couple hours, that sometimes the staterooms aren't ready and you're not able to access them, and your bags aren't going to be loaded for a while. So what I recommend is take anything you must have in those first few hours with you in your carry-on like bag. Like if you have a backpack, If you know, like for instance, you cannot wait 2 seconds to get into a hot tub or something like that. Have a swimsuit, things like that. That definitely will help you guys out a little bit. Other thing, I know there's a lot of people that are trying to put together color-coded shirts for your teams. Way to go, Derek.
Sorry.
I know Derek's like, he's after the last time people got so competitive. It's not a competition, but if you do want to have t-shirts and things like that, our t-shirt company has been really generous in helping people design some of those things. You can email me, romaine@derekandromaine.com, and I can help connect you with the person that you need. Although I think I've heard from almost all of the groups at this point. So yeah, there you have that.
All right.
Don't forget, you can decorate your door. Your door is made of metal. A lot of our listeners do that, and they find that to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Tammy says, do you expect it to be raining most of the time? I checked the weather, and it shows rain. We're a month away, so it's a little soon to be able to tell whether it's going to rain or not rain. But in general, you can expect temperatures as a high in the 60s during the day. And remember, out on the water, it's cooler than it is on land. So, you'll definitely want to have like a sweatshirt or two, a light jacket. It's summer, it's August, but it's not going to be hot up in Alaska unless they have some kind of sudden last minute heat wave. And by the way, Alaska's been having unseasonably warm weather for a few years now, so it's possible. Romaine's getting a very important communique.
Sorry about that. I forgot to turn off the notifications. My bad.
Anyway, so no, we don't necessarily expect rain, but if you want to get one of those old lady plastic rain bonnets to keep over your hair, that might not be a terrible idea. But no, like we were there, it didn't rain when we were there last time.
And usually,
it's like anywhere with summer. It might rain, but it's not the rainy season.
Most of the time that we were there last time, it was more of like a little mist. It wasn't even so much a rain as just like a light misting.
Yeah. Bob says bring hoodies. Todd says that's why I ordered a DNR sweatshirt.
Smart.
Dan says if there's a last minute need for a cabin mate, I'm still dying to go and gotta get out of this hell dome called Florida. Dan, we don't have anyone at the moment, but we'll see. We'll keep holding out hope that something will break for you.
And there is still time to get on the Love Cruise. So if you want to go there, you can get on the Love Cruise as well. And that leaves out of Florida. Yeah,
there is plenty of time to get on the Love Cruise, but I will say that the studios, they're not handing out cabin numbers anymore. So it's sold out. So it's basically standing room only. And at a certain point, they will just stop selling the studios altogether. I mean, they may have already stopped by the time you see this video. So if you are a solo traveler and you've been thinking about going on the Love Cruise, you better get on it like real fast because, it may sell out sooner than you think. And by the way, if you wrote in and I sent you a confirmation, but you never made a deposit, you are not booked on the cruise, because I've already had that with a couple of people who thought they were booked, even though they magically did not make a deposit. So there you go. And Dan, he is on the Love Cruise. Of course he is. He's right on top of that, Rose.
Oh, good.
Brian says, can you give a bit more information about the Clue-themed teams? Team Mrs. Peacock is the best. All the other ones can suck it, especially if Stanton is on one of them. Well, Brian, I'm pretty sure Stanton is Team Peacock. Also, the whole point with the teams was with the size of the group, we wanted people to be able to, you will have a hard time remembering the names and meeting 150 people. But we thought if we put people into slightly smaller groups within the group, it'll be much easier for you to remember the names and identify, let's say, 20 people. Okay. And then that way there would always be people, it's easier to meet somebody. You'll always see people that you know. It's grouped by deck, so you're more likely to, the people who are in your group, they're more likely to be the people that you're riding the elevator with or running into outside your door. It's just to facilitate people having somebody to meet and talk to, because not everybody's outgoing like Derek and or Romaine. Some people are shy. And so it's just a way for people to meet each other. Now, some people get very team oriented. They're very aggressive about it. And, Romaine and I are not fans of that kind of aggressive team play, just because we don't want people to feel left out or like, how come I'm on the shitty group? Nobody's on a shitty group. Everybody's in a great group. So, you know, whatever. But we did it around Clue because then we could split the team up into 6 teams that were all based around color. And then if people wanted to color coordinate, they could, and it would go with our theme night. And people love Clue. What can I say? Kim says Professor Plum rocks. There you go. And Kenny says, when do you plan to announce the cruise following the Love Cruise? We had hoped to announce it on the Alaska cruise itself, what our fall 2017 cruise would be, so that the people who are on that cruise can have an advantage in getting booked on that. We're still waiting for NCL to release all of their fall 2017 cruises, so it may be it might not be ready by then. And no, Todd, that is not the Shanghai cruise. If we go to China, that's 2018 at the earliest. So, you know, don't get crazy. And Bob says, Mrs. White reigns supreme. Okay. Well, there you go. Romaine, any last minute thoughts? We're out of time.
No, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody in Seattle for the Alaska cruise. I think we have a great week of events planned for everyone. You guys will have a great time, and I'm really looking forward to it.
All right, good. Well, Brian wants to go to the Mediterranean. Brian, it's on the list. And then for the rest of you, if you have other questions, you need other things between now and then, you can always email dnrshow@gmail.com. If you have basically, Romaine and I, not 100%, but the duties roughly break up between the two of us that I book you and get you to the ship, and Romaine deals with you once you're there. So if your question is about onboard activities and that kind of thing, you know, ask Romaine. If your question is about transportation options and that kind of thing, getting on and off the ship, whatever, feel free to write to me. So there you go. All right.
There's one last question from Tammy. She asked about the dinner. It's not a dinner that we're doing that ends at 6 o'clock. It's actually our DNR awards. And that's where we give out our awards for the week. So it's really just like more cocktails and all that. So you should be able to get off the ship in time. I'm trying to remember. Hold on just a second. Let me just look at that schedule.
But you might not win an award if you leave early.
Yeah, we're technically you're not allowed to get off the ship until 6, it looks like, based on this. So yeah, you should be fine. 6:30 shouldn't be an issue getting off the ship. As long as you guys are just ready, you should have no problem doing that.
All right. Well, Donna says she's jealous and she's got to get herself one of these. You do, Donna. You should join us. The rest of you too, go to derekandromaine.com/cruise to check out our upcoming cruise stuff. Thanks for watching the video. Email us if you have any other questions. Romaine, I'll see you tomorrow. And for the rest of you, see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.